Hi guys, I'm Vince, um, and I'm really excited to be doing my first mud flood video. I live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. If you don't know where that is, I just pulled up a map here. You guys can take a look at. Um, and yeah, it's been a really exciting year for me. Just finding out just this crazy mud flood mystery that's going on that we're starting to learn more and more about. My wife, who's just an avid investigator, an incredible collector of info and intel, kind of just got me interested in just what might have happened in the past and the evidence of mud flood. I've come across tons of archived photos and subscribe to a lot of people who are doing this research. And yeah, I just like to add my input. So as I said, I do have make a smaller me here. I do have um, a map of Toronto here. Okay, so this is the basic area of Toronto. It's right on Lake Ontario here. There's not too long a history as far as the Europeans in Toronto. Um, they're saying Toronto has been a city for maybe 200 years. 1834 is when they dubbed it City of Toronto. Interesting about Toronto is it used to be called Muddy York. So I think that just says it all right there. And that is it's been called Muddy York from the 1700s, early 1800s, which kind of fits in a little bit with some of the timelines that we are thinking may have been when this global catastrophe happened. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna take you through some pictures of an area of Toronto close to where I live and work. I'm a handyman and I do work on houses, so I'm always looking at houses inside and out. I want to take you into the Annex here in Toronto. We're going to be looking at this whole area here. Yorkville's a very old area. However, that's not necessarily the area we're going to go into right now. I do have a lot of pictures of churches. I have a lot of pictures that I've collected of old Toronto. But for this video, I just want to take you through some of the mud flood evidence that I see in the Annex where I live and work. So I'm just going to pull up some of my own personal photos here. This is some great stuff I'll get you into a little bit later on a later video. So here we are. We're in the Annex. Now this is an area that is getting demolished to make way for this monstrosity. Let's take a quick look here. Yeah, they have this crazy condo going in there. But just some of the stuff I've seen. So let's look at some of this area that they're tearing down. You can see here we have, this is street level here, guys, pretty much. And then we have the windows, we have the doors that are raised above street level. I also, let's just take a quick look through some other stuff here. These are some panoramics I took because I was so shocked actually because this condo renovation, they took over a city block basically and bought all the houses, all these Victorian style houses. They bought up the whole block and figured they would just tear it down. But the city, my city, it's a great city. They did, a number of people fought for them to keep it and not demolish all of it. But I'm sure, I guess the deal is now they're going to renovate it and then, sell it to people or rent it out to people. So I don't think it really be much of what this is. But my wife and I have a theory that they're trying to destroy the evidence of antiquity and destroy the evidence of the Victorian builds and things like that. So here we are. This is a University of Toronto, an incredible building. It's got the stupas here. It's got a lot of antiquitech going on in this area. One thing I've really noticed, what I'm really thinking about, and I will get to the mud flood stuff in the Annex, but this reminds me of speakers. how they have the Ripley thing, and also amphitheaters where they have this shape to project sound. Um, I'm not. I don't want to really go too much into that on this video, but that's just something that's struck me. I'm just winging this here, guys. So, you know, let's keep moving on. So this is an interesting school. It's on Manning Avenue, south of Dundas, Charles G. Fraser Public School. Um, I found some incredible evidence of mud flood here. Here we go. We've got our sunken windows, and it's interesting too because over here, I don't know if we can see it too well. This door is about a 4 feet high, or a little more, maybe 5 foot door. It's just so obviously not the intended door height, which I think is kind of nuts. These are all pictures I took myself. I was kind of freaking out when I saw this. It's the same school. I thought, oh my God, it's buried right down to the bottom. But no, not necessarily that. It's just that there's. Sorry, I'm just gonna turn my mic down a bit. It's just that there's. They took these old pieces and they wanted to keep them around, I guess, as a reminder of what it looked like. And thank you for doing that, you wonderful people, because we get a little piece of the architecture. So here we have again, right? We got the sunken windows, tiny doors. You know, these. This is like 2 feet off the ground. Makes no sense why they would build it like that. Why they would put windows. And this is Toronto, Canada. For anybody who doesn't know, I mean, the winters here can be crazy. I mean, now that the city's so big, there's the winters aren't as bad because there's so much warmth that comes from the city. So the snow isn't as bad. But in anywhere else in the surrounding areas, like in my hometown, and the snow, the winters we get here are incredible. This would be buried in snow. All these windows would just be leaking water. And that's another thing I wonder about all these basement builds. Like waterproofing basements it's it's a lot of problems. It creates a lot of problems for houses, and especially when you try to slap a window in that goes halfway between the ground, below and the ground above. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. This is one of the churches on Beverly Street. It's got pretty amazing architecture. You got these stacked bricks. I always wonder about these bricks here, why they do them in the way they do them. We have our peak. We have a bit of our Antiquitech antenna going on up here. Lots of these in Toronto. Lots of these. And I'm thinking about doing a whole other video on just these domes and peaks clad in copper. As you can see, this one here, there's so many copper clad peaks, and if the peaks aren't clad in copper, at the very least they're capped in copper. And copper, as I'm sure many of us know, as I'm sure you know, is a highly conductive metal. You read up about why they use it in roofing, and it says, it stands the test of time, and the corrosion actually makes it stronger. Okay, yeah, you got those things, but why? I don't know. It's also a very good conductor of electricity. Maybe a conductor of other energies. I don't know. So let me just keep moving on down here. Here's another pretty good example of mud flood. Now this is something I'm noticing. I don't know if maybe someone has a better, maybe someone has an explanation for this. But what I'm seeing a lot of is this kind of stone here, followed by brick. And a lot of times, all we're seeing is maybe one or two courses of brick. Not brick, one or two courses of this stone, whatever this stone is. And then it's brick on top. You got the old work and then the new work on top. It says 1923. I got a feeling this stuff here is older. Okay, maybe 1923 up here. Why aren't we putting the date stone down here? Where, the foundation or whatever you want to call it. Okay, again though, we have, believe it or not, this is a power building, the Toronto Hydroelectric System. We've got a bit of a rose there. We've got somewhat lancet windows. We've got this. This shows up a lot in the architecture down here, or over here, depending on where you are. Okay, this is an incredible church. I'm trying to remember the name. There are so many churches in Toronto. It baffles the mind why they would need a church. I'm talking churches like this every, there's got to be 5 in every square kilometer, maybe 10. I'm telling you, you'll see. This is very close to another church. Now, something about these churches that or some of the churches I've noticed, and not just churches, but these interesting cones, these sort of rippley cones, not similar. I'm talking exactly the same shape of cones found in some other buildings here. What I wonder too is, were these clad in copper at one point? Were they a copper installment? Now let's look down at the bottom here. We have also, again, we have the raised, we have the stairs going up to what's supposed to be the first floor. And you see this so much in churches. Let me go back to that. This is a pretty interesting. You see this so much in churches. Some of these stairs, they'll go up 10, 15 steps, some of them. This is maybe 6. But I wonder, like, is that the design? Was the design at a time when, we didn't have necessarily walkers, or we didn't have, we didn't have anything else. Not that a walker would help you, like upstairs, but, you have all these people coming to the church, young and old and all this stuff. And you make these churches with flights up, all to get up these stairs. Like, the people who are coming to participate in the church, they got to climb stairs. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's like ascending to heaven. Okay, so we're gonna start getting into the houses now. Okay, I'm actually working on this house right now, and they got this brick sort of header for obviously what would have been a window or a door. And it's 2 feet off the ground. Again, you got a dryer vent coming to it now. There's some incredible Antiquitech also in downtown Toronto. This is Queen and Spadina. We got our what looks to be a copper roof. We got our spherical, whatever they are, energy gatherers. This keeps showing up. The old peacock. That's a big part of the architecture down here. We're going to see a lot of that. So this was, yes, a very interesting. We got of course, our peak with our pillars, which is something we see everywhere as well. Hey, guys? Maybe a bit clearer picture there. I'm going to just bounce out here to make sure I'm pulling up what I want to pull up. Okay, some of these buildings, guys, if we're talking about an older culture. Okay, this is the Much Music building, okay? This is apparently was built in the early 1900s. Apparently, this was the Methodist Church headquarters for like their religious materials, like their written works and things, kind of almost like the media of the day, I guess. But what I'm wondering is, are these Methodist Church symbolism here? I see a lot of Mason symbolism in this whole place, which is it's just an incredible building, and I do want to visit this because there's a bit of mystery around this. It's a bit of mystery around the guy who designed it and built it, and yeah, I apologize for that music there. There's a mystery just for me as like how they built it and why they built it in this way at the time they built it, but I'm going to come back to that in another video. But just incredible stonework here. Okay, let me exit out and get back to these houses. Okay, here we are, some excellent. Okay, that's Fort York. Okay, I'm gonna just try to pull up some houses here. Okay, so any given street in the Annex you can go down, you're gonna see stuff like this. Okay, we got our some people call it the lintel or lentil. Above we got this sunken window. Why, I don't know. Well, I think I do know. Why else is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. Here we have, again, and this is on the same street, guys. This is a Robert Street, another good example. House after house with this kind of thing going on. Now, this is something I wanted to show you guys. Sometimes people have gone ahead and opened up the door that was lost underneath. This one's a perfect example. They call it basement lowering here. Sometimes they may go down an extra couple feet, but you can see That is maybe the height of the original door before what I'm suggesting happened is the mud flood. It's a pretty good example of it there. Let's see what else. Okay, another one, same deal. A little further up. I also noticed too that as I was going up some of the streets, another one. I was going up some of the streets, I found that there were certain parts of streets where it was 3 flights up or 3 stairs up to the door, and then as you went up and you look across the street and there's a house across the street, it's 3 stairs up to the door, and then you will go up, let's say, half a block, and then you notice that the houses are, the front door is actually 6 flights up or 6 steps up to the door, and then you turn and look across the street and there's the same amount of steps up to the front door on the other side of the street, suggesting to me that there is the same level of mud in that spot of the street, and so therefore it was submerged at different levels, but maybe all at the same level when constructed originally. This is a school called Central Tech. It's in Bathurst and Dundas area. It says here 1951, but here we go. This is a plaque on the pole for 1925 or 1927, maybe it was somewhere in there. But I still think it probably predates it. This is right across the street from that school. Another great example of a mud flood window. And here again, there we go. These are the old stones. You can see these old stones here. And then they're built on with this brick. I looked into brickworks in Toronto, and a lot of the brick manufacturing, the earliest brick manufacturing was probably early 1800s, if not mid 1800s, when they really started churning them out. By the 1900s, they were churning out tons, millions and millions of bricks per year, and I think that's a lot of what they were building on. And so my theory is possibly that flood happened, decimated most things, leaving the ruins and foundation. And then they were dug out and rebuilt with brick on top, giving them the dates that the brick buildings were built on top of the old foundations. It's just a theory, but I'm finding more and more evidence to support it. Again, this is Central Tech. Central Tech with Antiquitech all over it. We've got 3 coney sort of towers here, all with these little stupa points to it. Again, all copper. We've got lancet sort of shaped windows, although they're not windows, so what are they? And of course we have our crosses. Yeah, it's a pretty incredible building. And then again, we have the old build. Now this is an old building that has kept its stonework, and then they've added on to brick, right? They add on with brick, but there's all the old stonework. You can see here, we're going to go in. There's the sunken windows. Let's just clear up a little bit for us. Okay, now those are pretty tall, but they're still right at ground level. And again, why right at ground level to just get filled up with snow? And what, you're going to have to dig all these out, break a window with your shovel? I mean, it just, logistically, it doesn't make sense to me to have windows sitting at ground level without even a couple of feet to separate you from the snow and mud. That was Toronto. Toronto was covered in mud for a lot of its history. Okay, this is the other side of the same building, and again we have these ground level windows. And this side of the building is very interesting because they have some loading. They have some loading doors. Here you can see one that are slightly submerged, and in some of them even you have to go. They dug right down. So this one here you can see is a little bit low, lower than the ground. Not too much, but still lower. You got windows here. I think this could have been a very tall doorway. But then there's, let's just see here what I got. This one you can see. There's ground level, and here's the loading door. And that, see, we have the base of the door, this little build out, this little accent. So there is that the original height or depth of the doorway? Because you'll see in the other picture that we had there, it doesn't quite go so low. but it could have been, leveled off there. It's not as deep. We don't have the accenting sort of base stone that the next set of doors, which is just the next set of doors over, seems to have. It's a deeper door, and it's got this accent here to signify this is the bottom of the doorway, and that's at least 3 feet below the ground level that's here. So I think that's pretty compelling evidence right there with this building that there was some mud flood there. Okay, so let's look at what do we got up here. We got this same cross symbol that's popping up everywhere, and this is the same building with all the copper. There's another loading door a little further down. This one's even deeper, it seems. And again, it has some of the stonework is not really visible. I think maybe it was taken out to make room for the loading door, or I don't know. So yeah, Central Tech. I found this very compelling. Here we go. We have another keystone here that's saying 1913. 1913. Okay, so 1913. Yeah, I don't know. Things can be changed pretty easily. There's a place called Fort York here in Toronto where they actually removed a keystone and put in another one. Again, we got portholes filled in with concrete, but certainly could have been something there. The old doorways. Again, now this is a bit lower. Probably should have done a panoramic so we could have seen it. Okay, here's some more houses in the Annex. What's that all about? Are you gonna build in a window right at the ground level there and put in this excellent archway with a keystone where it can barely be seen? And then you can see it's just wooden stairs going up. There's no fancy. If you were gonna do this, if you were gonna make this lasting, incredible stonework here, would you not put in like an amazing lasting staircase to go with it, or would you just keep throwing up some wood planks? I know this is a very recent build, but I'm just saying, why wouldn't they have the masonry in the stairwork here? Why are we retrofitting stairs to the structure? Because that's not how it was designed to sit. They didn't design it, in my opinion, to sit here under the doorway. Oh, construction pictures. Sorry, better watch out. Let's go back here. Okay, so let's take a little look at this picture here. This is another church with stairs going up. Why would this be the entranceway? And these are what, 7-foot doors? You have this big beautiful church. Don't you think it's probably more likely that they had these would be it'd probably be a 10-foot door or something, I would imagine. But again, we have kind of a shortish door here. We've got low to the ground windows for anybody to just kick in and go into the church in times of poverty that was rampant in Toronto. I mean, that's another thing, security wise, like why would we do this? Anyways, let's take a look now. Okay, we got some, this is Toronto. You can see again, we got these incredible buildings here, amazing dome. We got mud on the streets, Muddy York as they called it. Okay, let's see. There's much else to see here. Yeah, I got lots of those older ones I'm going to bring up in another video. But for right now, I just want to pull up a bunch more examples of mud flood. Look at this. Again, we have a situation where they've gone in and they've opened up the old doorways that were there before, which is so great because it just gives you a sense of, hey, there's something down there. That's how it was designed. And yet, here we are again. Another doorway with the old brickwork there. And this is something that confuses me too, is that some of it is the old brickwork here that is telling us there's something low. So we have the old stone and then we have brickwork. This looks like probably all new brickwork. I think they dug this out and put this door in and added this new brick in. That's what I think. But here on closer to the other side here is where we're going to see that's the old stone, right? Okay, maybe just a few more examples. I'm going to try to keep this a little bit shorter. I feel like I might be rambling a bit, but And sort of showing the same thing over and over again, but it's just undeniable when you see this old stone, and then brick on top. I just have a couple of images I wanted to show you where I think it's quite evident that they've added. I know there's some incredible churches here in Toronto, but where it seems like they've added brick, they've sort of mixed the brick with the stone. So here's another one here where maybe this isn't sunken in quite as much as it was before. We're seeing more of the stonework here. I know it's a bit blurry. The stonework comes up a bit higher, but as you can see, if that, you know, if the brick starts here, we got this big step up to the doorway. Incredible stuff. Another one, as you're seeing here. And just the feeling you get from some of these old houses. Here's an example of a good mix of brick and the old stone. I really just got a feeling that these old stones here were the remains of what was left, and the brick work was done to continue and to rebuild these structures. Great examples of it here. Incredible building here. It's on Markham Street. This was probably a synagogue for a while, or maybe just a Jewish family. All kinds of these houses here in Toronto. Beautiful. What a city. What a city I live in. Okay, I'll just show you one more, just a couple more here, guys. I thought this is a pretty cool place here. I just took a picture of this yesterday. But I don't know if you can see with this one, but you've got the mud flood windows here. The height is there. But inside here is actually, the floor is actually down another 3-4 feet, and that's their main floor. So I thought that was pretty cool. I know it might be hard to see, but I thought that's pretty cool that they actually have this old building where they've actually used a floor down as their first floor. So when you walk in, you walk down. Yeah. Anyways, guys, that's just a quick glimpse of Toronto and the evidence of mud flood that we have here. And I just am very excited to continue this work and to continue looking up and the history of where I live and other places in the world. This global phenomena that shows we all are kind of seeing the same evidence that something at some point happened to bury a lot of the structures. So yeah, with this first video, I want to welcome you to Mud Flood Mystery North. I hope to find lots more stuff to add and to put into, the collective conscious that we're creating about our history. So yeah, I'm Vince, and I just want to say thanks a lot for watching. I hope that you enjoy this mystery research as much as I do, and are able to just get into it and share it. Right? I think it's really important to share the information as we find it, and to find camaraderie through truth seekers, and to bolster our convictions by sharing with each other the information we're finding. So thanks to everyone else who's doing this work, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.